What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Spit It Out podcast. I'm your host, Ramazan, together with my co host, Yasir,
Yo, yo, yo.
and Aman.
What's up?
We'll be talking about game stuff and more. On today's episode, we'll talk about the new Horizon game, some updates about Nvidia, and Yasir's Rogue Trader's journey.
What?
Yeah, so starting off with the Horizon game, Aman.
Yes, sir. Just out of nowhere, a few days ago, the creators of Horizon, unveiled a new game called Hunter's Gathering. It's like a kind of like a PvE game, kind of similar to. I heard people refer to this game similar to Dauntless. For me, I would say it's more similar to Monster Hunter slash Fortnite Save the World, where you're basically just in a co-op group of 3 or 4 people. In the trailer, they only showed 3 people fighting basically like large monsters in like an area, and you like try to clear more areas and further like a story. It's kind of like a very stylistic choice, is a bit odd. They got like a bit of a cartoony style going, kind of similar to Fortnite, I would say. My first thoughts of it is that it kind of looks like a Horizon Fortnite type game, which is kind of weird that they went for this kind of style, because it is still made in the Decima engine, which is the engine they used for the mainline Horizon games. So they technically could have made it look very nice and very high fidelity. But I think maybe to differentiate it from the mainline games, they might have changed it up with the style and potentially to like make it stand out more. I think it's not that not like a good choice for them, because I feel like with this stylistic choice, I feel like they're gonna like miss out on potential players, because people might not like the style and probably would prefer like a more realistic style. What do you guys think?
It's interesting, I guess. I believe when I first saw this, I already said it's not for me with how it already looks, like you said. And also, simply because I didn't really ask for a game like this for the Horizon franchise. To be honest, I still have to start my journey, but already it's way different than the 2 games that came before this. And I don't know if we already know where it takes place in the timeline, if it's canon to the other games. But all those questions are like right now lingering in my mind. Obviously, if you play it, maybe it's fun, but the way I already heard Fortnite Save the World, Dauntless, already really turned me off, since for the Horizon series, everything that I saw in trailers for the previous game appealed to me, where I wanted to give it a chance. But from this one, I mean, it shows more unique locations, but other than that, it doesn't really do anything for me. And that maybe changes when we see like raw gameplay, but so far it's not something I'm interested in.
So to respond to that, I have played the Horizon Zero Dawn at least, and Forbidden West I'm like halfway through. I can kind of answer that this most likely takes place between Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, or after Forbidden West. I'm not sure really, because I haven't finished Forbidden West. But this definitely takes place after Zero Dawn. And for like combat, I can say that yeah, Horizon has like a very like action adventure type combat style, and like very RPG style, whereas this is definitely more of a like more, I think hack and slash would be the best way to describe the combat in this. And for locations, I don't think it would make sense if they show off like more different locations than in Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, mostly because those games take place in like most of the United States, and I don't see why this game would take place somewhere else than the United States. So that might change if I actually get around to finishing Forbidden West.
I saw a desert place in the trailer.
Yeah, there's a desert in both Zero Dawn and Forbidden West.
Ah, okay. That I did not know. Okay. Then yeah, I again probably need to wait and see for some raw gameplay. But I mean, it might be a fun thing, right? It might draw it, like on launch. It might be a fun game, but I don't know. I really need to see a lot more, and especially like to see how content complete it is. Like, does it offer a lot on launch? Or at least
Yeah.
have a quick roadmap where, like, in the first couple of months they already have big patches ready for, like, with new content, because that's also like they're going for a live service game, so they need to like keep you engaged constantly.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you, Ramasan? These types of games are more up your alley.
Yeah, true, and yeah, it does speak to me, so I would like to play it.
Okay.
I haven't played the other Horizon games yet. I'm planning to, but yeah, this one does sound like a nice game. I
Yeah.
like for a change that it's not a PvP and PvE. Like the games I've played right now are either PvP or have I played someone that's both? I think I had, but I don't know at the moment the name of the games. But yeah, I think for a change, having a game where you just are with another person, like probably it will be a game I will play with a friend. So or friends. So yeah, and then just not worry about other players. Just focus on the machines actually, instead of players for a change.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't particularly know what to expect of it. Like it does look very cool, but yeah, like I really don't know what I should expect from it.
I believe Aman said 3-player PvE co-op at least.
Yeah. And you just go around hunting machines and clearing areas, I assume.
Yeah.
Like in Monster Hunter style, or is it open world?
That we do not know yet. But it looks like it's going to be more Monster Hunter style.
Mhm.
So you have like designated zones.
Okay. So I think the trailer showed that you kind of have a hub where you just choose the mission and then you get launched into it. It gives high guard, in my opinion. The more I see from the trailer, it's giving up high guard in the way that you see a lot of patterns that have come before and that they are trying to uniquely mesh together. So, like a 10-minute like raw gameplay would be best
Yeah.
to like also temper expectations and also like show what it is.
Yeah, no, definitely. I do feel like I feel like most Horizon fans are in the same boat as me, where we're kind of like tired of seeing all these Horizon spin-off games popping up, and we kind of just want to see a new mainline game.
Mm.
Because I'm pretty sure this is now the third Horizon spin-off game that came out since Forbidden West. So
Okay, so yeah, the VR game, Call of the Mountain,
yeah,
like an Horizon experience, and then you had before this the Lego Horizon game,
yeah,
and then this, I assume.
I think that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, again, to be honest, even just from PlayStation fans itself, like some that I've talked, they also don't really know why and Horizon is expanding like this for Guerrilla. But I mean, maybe this is the breakthrough Horizon spin-off game. I don't know how well the Lego one did or how liked it was, but who knows? Who knows? This
Yeah.
might be the breakthrough.
To me, it kind of like screams uncertainty with what they want to do with the franchise.
Mm.
Like maybe they just don't have like a good enough of a idea of where to head with the mainline game, so they're just kind of banking on using the franchise like this. That's what it feels like to me, at least.
True. I wish I could say Guerrilla cared as much for their Killzone franchise. Give that maybe a spin-off game. But okay. Horizon Hunters Gathering. I think we made our opinion. Like if I could get a one-word answer from the two of you, with this trailer, will you play it on launch?
No.
Yeah, I'm kinda. It depends how much it will cost.
Exactly, but he wanted one word.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, thank you very much, Amazon. That was indeed one word. I can tell you're a physicist. Thank you.
Yeah.
Also no for B. But who knows? They didn't announce a release date, I believe. Just that it's coming for PS5 and PC. And like how they call it, a tactical co-op action game.
Okay.
So I guess when the PlayStation showcase or a state of play, I believe a PlayStation showcase, if there's one this year, I feel like it probably will pop up in there again.
Yeah.
Maybe show off some more stuff. At least I hope new stuff. I don't need a repeat from the trailer. Alright, so 3 no's for Horizon Hunters Gathering based on what they have shown so far.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then moving on to a rather news from Nvidia. Aman, you know a lot more about it than I do.
Yeah. So at the CES, so that's the conference where they talk about like all their new tech and stuff.
Yep.
Nvidia reported that they're like they kind of like delayed the release of the RTX 50 Super, which is like a stronger version of the current like RTX 50 series, which is what they're currently focusing on in order to like supply more GPUs for things like AI usage, which is what AI is currently banking on a lot. That's why all our GPU prices are so high currently. And with that, there are also reports that the 60 Super Series are going to be delayed beyond 2027, which would mean that it's very likely that we will not be getting any new GPUs from Nvidia until 2028, which is bad news for us because that means that any like Nvidia user at least is going to be stuck with the currently the newest GeForce RTX, and we will be having to like rely on like AMD Horizon for like the next new gen games. So, for example, for GTA 6 when that comes out.
Okay.
I mean, I see it kind of as a good thing. I see it in a way for like studios now to like really like optimize their games, since from at least one major GPU manufacturer that they aren't releasing any new GPUs to like allow more of the AI frames to go in. I will say like the 50 series barely increased over the 40 series in terms of like actual raw performance. We had just more AI cores, so when you turn on frame gen it performed better, but then you also still have the glitchy effects of AI frames in your games, especially if you can notice it. Like for some, it's some people will not notice it. They will think it's crystal clear, but like for others, it's like very noticeable, especially on more higher fidelity games. So I see this like more as a blessing in a way, because it will force a different mentality, other than wait, the next Nvidia is coming out, so we can just push out this game like this without trying to optimize it for every existing user. Also, a good thing is that it could allow AMD, if AMD still has like a proper roadmap / pipeline on releasing GPUs, to like fill in the gap. They had so many attempts and so many times that they could have leveled the playing field. But if Nvidia isn't dropping till 2028, then that gives AMD at least a chance to catch up, because so far AMD has released the 9070, 9060, which is a stupid naming because it's now based on how Nvidia has named their GPUs. Very stupid. Everyone got used to the 7900, 6800 like naming scheme, and now they did this, which are like mid-range GPU, so no high-end GPU did they release, and now this is like a proper chance if they can release a high-end GPU next year before the supers drop for the 50 series. That could boost their amount of users that are using AMD GPUs, and from what we see, we really need competition in the GPU space because the prices are insane. Also now mostly due to AI, so competition doesn't really matter on that front. But even before then, Nvidia was allowed to get away with such ridiculous prices, mainly because there was no competitor giving the same amount of performance for a better value. So I see benefits in the long term. I believe in short term we'll maybe suffer a little bit, but depending on like which generation GPU you are on. But again, I feel like the supers would barely be better than the current 50 series, because the current 50 series are like not that much better. Like I believe the 5090 has only like the most known increase in raw performance, but even then, if you try to play Cyberpunk on path tracing, it barely gave you more raw frames than the 4090 did. And then like you don't even have to start with the 4080 versus the 5080, or the 4080 Super versus the 5080. So I believe the supers will probably also be like heavily AI focused.
Yeah.
And I feel like devs already had to start optimizing, since not everyone will turn on the frame gen, and not everyone will appreciate if they are forced to turn on frame gen to even play on like minimum specs. I know that since Monster Hunter Wilds had negative feedback when frame gen was asked, or like set in recommended specs.
Right.
But alright, yeah.
I feel like, yeah, it's good to have like a buffer and allow like developers to like focus more on like other stuff rather than just increasing like the fidelity and just the GPU requirements. But also the other end, yeah, you're right on allowing the competition. But like it is like kind of a halt in innovation for Nvidia, which is like a bad thing. Like a halt in innovation is always bad.
Yeah, but I believe no game so far has truly also innovated because of the current PC specs. Like for the longest time, PC specs were still like far ahead of what any game truly wanted to do. And I know a lot of things are expensive in games, and sometimes some assets are too expensive even on current gen hardware, but if you just compare it to the games that we had in the PS2, PS3 era, where they were doing like a lot of stuff that you would think that would be impossible for especially the consoles at that time, like I believe a lot more games, especially if they start optimizing in the early stages already, could have done a lot more crazy and actual next gen stuff, because all of the PS5, Xbox Series X games, I know we kind of call them next gen, but they haven't really done anything also innovative and also truly next gen. Like a lot of them are just kind of sequels to like what the Xbox One PS4 games set up, in terms of like, oh wait, you can do this in games. Like I believe Assassin's Creed Shadows was showing off game physics that already existed in 2013 games, and they were like, see how next gen this is. Like that's not next gen. We're regressing back to what we already had, instead of like trying a lot of stuff that we didn't have before. I believe also it's mainly due to studios focusing on fidelity, especially on realistic games, upping the fidelity, and I believe that is already a lot like very expensive, that you don't have opportunities to like also make some more groundbreaking gameplay mechanics.
True.
I-
I do think that there are some things that recently have been impossible because of like the new GPUs. I think like a few things that come to mind are real-time lighting and real-time reflections and ray tracing. I don't think that would have been possible with the PS3 and Xbox 360.
but those also fall in again like what most normal consumers would think of, like fidelity part, and
Yeah.
like that is fine, right? Like we already are aware, but even then, if you look at how devs are saying like how costly it is, and that they have to like lower some other aspects of the game, or it takes longer because of those. Like I've seen a lot of people show more appreciation to like baked in lighting and non-rain traced, or like where the devs have specifically used ray tracing for, instead of like forcing it over the entire game, rather than like everything new fidelity is bringing. Since one, it feels like games take longer because of that, and also feels like by the time they have that finally finalized, there's not much room for them to do like a lot of other like insane game physics, like destructive environments, or like some crazy levels or special attacks. So I feel like there's still like an argument to be made on ray traced lighting and real time lighting, because like also with ray tracing, I have only seen it like very noticeable in games that are like going for that realistic approach, slash, or have an art style that is realistic, that has like a sort of realistic approach. But other
True.
than that, like I believe the only game so far that or the only two games I have seen so far really benefit from it were Witcher 3, which if you turn on ray tracing, it looks like a very different game, and more, and it looks way better than the vanilla game, and Cyberpunk. But those were also closely collaborated with Nvidia to like really get the most out of it. And I believe that most studios don't have such a close collaboration with Nvidia. So a lot of the fine tuning that Nvidia might have helped with Cyberpunk and Witcher 3, or explain like how how best it could be utilized, you don't see that in most other games, just in very narrow places in games.
That's true. But like also a lot of other specific things that are enabled by having a better GPU, or just having more innovative GPU like functions, or just being able to crank up the like mesh detail and all that stuff. I think those things also heavily contribute to being able to crank up the fidelity of a game. And while I agree that that's not necessary to make a good game, and that games could just look, or they could like use other ways of figuring out how to make the games look good. I do think for a lot of studios, it's also like a selling point because a lot of gamers, and we have one sitting right here, they find fidelity a very important part and is definitely what contributes to them either buying or scrapping the game. The person I'm talking about is Amazon, by the way.
Yeah, but Amazon is a high fidelity gamer.
Yeah.
He won't
What
bat
do you
an
mean
eye.
by that?
No, but we'll see. Like I believe we agree that a buffer is needed, and I believe for a while, since I kept track of the GPUs, like a lot of GPU YouTubers were already like saying that Nvidia, I think 3 years ago, was already mentioning that there's not much room for innovation that they can see right now with newer gen hardware. But I see like a lot of opportunity for devs to like catch up and maybe reduce workloads where they can, and like properly optimize also for the newer gens and older gens. Like I see a lot, like maybe hardware wise there won't be a lot of innovation, but I see like on the development side there can now be like a lot more innovation, or better yet optimization happening because of this. But also, don't forget AMD still exists, so maybe they will have some answers. All right.
All right. Yasir.
Oh no.
Yeah, the time has come.
Is it truly? Is it time?
It is, it is. You have been playing Rogue Traders for a while now, right?
I have. I
Yeah.
have. I
You
have.
fin-
I have rolled credits yesterday, so that would be Saturday for the listeners and viewers.
Yeah.
We record on Sunday, so yes, I have rolled credits yesterday. It was a very long journey, but it was also a very fun and intriguing journey to be
Okay.
had. So yeah.
Well, the first question that comes up in my mind is, what kind of expectations did you have before starting Rogue Traders?
Not much, to be honest. When Rogue Trader was announced, it was also in the year that I was like diving into the Warhammer 40k settings and becoming like a proper fan of it, where I was like constantly delving into some new lore, delving into some like other games that have been released. So when this was announced, it was like on the promise of like a very big CRPG, very in lore Warhammer 40k game. And I can confirm it was a very big CRPG with a lot of Warhammer 40k lore and story to like go through. What is Rogue Trader? Rogue Trader is you are basically a person that can get away with a lot of things before someone higher up in the echelons will say like, what are you doing actually? Rogue traders have the sacred warrant of trade, which means they can have like their own protectorate. It's like kind of their own couple of like planets that they govern / own. They can deal with Xenos, how they love to say it in the universe, aliens. They can like talk to them, have treaties with them, so long as they have a valid reasoning, or as long as no inquisitor is aware of. And like they have the like, when this game got announced, it made a lot of sense why they would allow you to play as a rogue trader instead of like a space marine, because a space marine has like a narrow like, oh, you're going to this planet, here are aliens, kill them. Or you're going to this planet, here are demons, kill them. Like it has not much.
No, it's a soldier, basically.
Yeah, like it doesn't have much to offer to you other than like it's gonna give you like Halo-esque missions, right? So with a rogue trader, you have like a lot of multiple stuff that you can do. Like you can like I said, you govern your planets, so you have like a colony system where you are literally like evolving some of your planets to like be more industrial, or like a planet that is more on the agriculture level, you're like boosting those. And they even have like small fun stories to also follow. But with a rogue trader, you also have like political aspects. Like, you're not the only rogue trader in the Coronis Expanse, which I would also like to emphasize that the Coronis Expanse made its appearance on the Rogue Trader tabletop game, where this game is also based off. So it follows a lot of those rule sets, from what I understand, compared to the more modern Warhammer 40k editions. And a lot of the lore of the Rogue Trader tabletop is kind of, from what I understand, being like showcased here / answered here. Like, I believe there are still some big plot points missing, but for example, one of your rival rogue trader, like rival rogue traders, their sub story did make it into this game, which was very interesting. And also they've been alluding to a lot of other plot points that the tabletop already delved into, that the game is alluding to. Maybe in DLCs it gets in maybe the last 2 DLC they will also appear. But it made a lot of sense, like on a political level. Like, you don't see a space marine going into like a hive city in the lower, like in the sewer systems, or like walking with like the regular humans. You don't really see that. They're like on war fronts. And with Rogue Trader, you are like talking with the nobles, talking with like the commoners, like very political. And that's other times you're just like scouring like the Coronis Expanse on your void ship, which I also did not expect. Like actually, like choosing my own destinations. Obviously you're following quest lines, and with this you still have like a lot of other planets that you can follow. Some maybe too much. Like, at certain times I was like, I didn't really need to explore these planets. So most planets are like scannable, and then it kind of gave me the Mass Effect one vibe, where you're like going to like multiple let's say systems, and you're just like, okay, do I have something here that I can check out? And then it's just like, you have scanned this planet, so, and then you're just like, all right, that's it for this system. But they also have like resources that you need for your colony management, so I also understand why there are so many, but I think it could have done with less. And yeah, like, I will say that gameplay wise, I really loved it. I did 2 playthroughs for the listeners and viewers. My first playthrough when this game launched was like 80 hours, where I finished Act 3, and I was in Act 4, but there was a random difficulty spike near the end of Act 3 that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and a lot of other games were dropping soon after, so I kind of ditched the game, and only recently came back with my second playthrough, which is around like, I believe like 100 hours, I would say, like 102 hours. So in total I played this game for over 182 hours in 2 playthroughs. So it's a very long CRPG game, but that's how you also know, like, story-wise, it's like, it's phenomenal story-wise. I have some problems. That's like mostly in the near end game, or like pretty much the end game actually, that I only have like very much doubts about how canon this game might be in the like overall Warhammer 40k universe. But seeing as how Boltgun is canon, I think this one will also be canon. But story-wise, it's very deep. Like, I think Alcat is also praised with how deep their storytelling is. Like, there are some choices I make that come even later in the game, where, like, in the end game, I was in some alien construct, and it was talking, but like the quest dialogue let me know, like, because I didn't decipher their language earlier, I don't know what he says. So like, it's funny, like, he's very angrily roaring, and then the dialogue is just saying like, because you don't know, you didn't decipher the language, you don't know what he's actually truly yelling about. So it's just angry noises for you, and sometimes it made me chuckle. There were also other times that I forgot I did something that later came back in my favor, or even even coming at my disadvantage, like me pissing off the wrong people, or me having factions own me, and thus they are joining me in battle, or giving me field buffs or advantages. So I did very much have no real qualms with how far the dialogue is written, how far the story goes, and how enriching it was. This is truly the best game to play if you want to know just the general theme, setting, story, and how the factions work in Warhammer 40k. This is the best game. Only if you also like CRPGs. If you don't like it, then it might be a hard sell to make. But yeah.
Okay, what was what grabbed you first? The setting, the story, or RPG mechanics? If you need to choose only one of these.
Setting.
The setting. All right.
I was already into Warhammer 40k by the time I noticed that this game would come out, and already had some of my favorite factions, and knew a bit more of the lore. So I was like, yes, I'll play this game. I'll play this. It's because it was also the devs were selling it as hey, if you want to know more about this grand universe, and you want to know more about these factions and how they play and how they interact,
were there also some moments where you felt uncomfortable making a decision, or you're like, shit, why do I need to make this decision right now?
No. Most of the time I did enjoy living with my consequences. There was one moment that I did scum save and roll back into my save, not liking the choice the game made for me, because it's still also on dice rolls, just if you're familiar with Baldur's Gate 3, how you can pass some dialogue checks. Rogue Trader has the same system, and there was, let's say, just a choice that I was not agreeing with the outcome for, that I did not want to live the consequence for, so I did roll back on that. But that's not a choice that I made. It was more the game was effing me over with something I was trying to achieve.
Okay. And in terms of your companions and characters, which companion surprised you the most?
The first DLC companion, Guerilla, because I already did the first playthrough, so none on my second playthrough, none of the basic game companions surprised me that much. I did like the conclusions. Most got to their their quest lines, whether I helped them or not. They're quite independent, so I was happy with that. But Guerilla, the first DLC companion, she surprised me, especially since I did not expect the DLCs to go deep with her. Because her DLC is 15 hours ish. I believe they said all DLCs will be around 15 hours long with content. So also salute to that, proper DLCs, expansions to the story. And just going through her questline, she's a very intriguing character, and she's an assassin type character. She will be your shadow. She's in a crazy cult, and I could influence the way she thinks, and without spoiling, just the midpoint of the DLC / endpoint of the DLC, where the questline evolves to, that it surprised me so much. I did not really achieve the ending that I wanted with her.
Okay.
but she was very much the one that intrigued me the most. I will say the one that I got disappointed the most, because I also had the second DLC already, was the Arbitrator. I forgot his name, but compared to Kibla, he didn't really give me much. Like, there were like he's like, if you want to know, an Arbitrator is like sort of a police officer in the Warhammer 40k setting, but more like, you know, brutal, grimdark, and whatever. And you know, like, his introduction was epic. Like, just the whole Arbitrator force was like pretty cool. Like the entire DLC itself was like really awesome. Like, I don't know if I have it over the first DLC, because the main theme of the first DLC is like cults and like a new Xenos faction that I will not spoil. I believe maybe the trailers did show it, but I'll just refrain from saying like which alien faction also kind of made it into the game. But the second DLC is like very political. Like, it goes even more political about how the arbitrators and the administratum works, and like how me as the rogue trader, and kind of the strongest rogue trader at that point in the Coronis Expanse come in play. And like that like, I really loved going through that DLC, but like, compared to Kibble, like, I barely got anything with the Arbitrator. Like, there's when he joins you on your ship, there are numerous times that you will, like, when you're trying to travel to a different planet, where numerous times that your Fox Master, and that's basically your communication officer, tells you like, hey, we have a problem on the bridge, the Arbitrator has done this, and he's requesting an audience. And then I give the audience, obviously, because I want to know like what happened. And then he's basically accusing your crew, for most of the part, like, of heretical stuff, like, oh, they are harboring criminals, oh, they have heretical thoughts and whatnot. And you have choices to make. You can either stand with your crew and trust their independence, or agree with him and that he imprisons them. And so far, I found that my crew were in their rights, or I chose like a more neutral position on it. And like, from the crew, I get like some buffs, like if I sided with them, like, oh, hey, they are happy with your decision of like trusting their independence and whatnot. But I don't really get him be angry at me, right? Like, surely like there will be some frustrations, like he's trying to uphold the law, and like the person that is supposed to be the law is like kind of disagreeing with him. Like it makes sense also. Like, I am the law, I am the end all be all for on the ship, but I kind of expected more out of him. Like, because sometimes he does voice his opinion very clearly, but when you think like, oh, surely by the fifth time of denying him to like imprison someone on like, in his eyes, very valid grounds, I would think like he would like lash out a little bit, or like voice his opinions clearly, or like show his distrust, because that's what the right hand man, the Seneschal Abelard, he's the old guy that is always with you, also my most busted unit. Like, very early, he did not like how I made decisions, and we had like a proper talk, and that's what I enjoyed. Like, actual like companions that have like their own values and their own rules, and like that they like, if I clash with their ideologies, that they will voice their opinions. And I was quite shocked that it didn't really happen. Like, he had at times that our ideologies clashed, and that's when he talked, but not during those moments. So part of me was like, okay, thanks for the free buffs, but also I didn't really need these interferences / intrusions of me traveling to different planets. It doesn't really pay off to him being dissatisfied or satisfied with my actions. So most interesting or most shocked was Kibble from the first DLC, and most disappointed was the Arbitrator from the second DLC, to answer your question. And yeah, like, also, if I, since I already showed like some disappointments, I will say the gameplay is, I love it, but the skill systems, I hope Dark Heresy, their next game, fixes. the skill system, because the skill systems of right now is over convoluted, where there's so much you can choose, so much that you can define your character to, and most are like at the end of the day like some buffs like in percentages, where to be honest it's very daunting. Like if you looked at it, you kind of get turned off real quick because there's so much you can choose from and you don't know which ones would fit perfectly for your character. And like to be like I read most of them, and I feel like probably my gameplay got added by maybe another 5 hours of just reading every skill, because for every character I don't want to choose the same skills, right? Because they all specialize into different subclasses, which the subclasses are a very nice thing, and I don't have issues with the subclasses. But like it's as soon as you specialize in a subclass, you have like another shit ton of skills to choose from. Most are like passive buffs to increase your character's lethality or like perseverance, but it's like so much that I believe you could have combined so many of them and just have like a more simplistic, nice way of like leveling up, where it doesn't take like an hour or two like for every character, where you're just like, oh, all right, let me choose this, or oh, I don't know, is this okay? Because you have so many companions, like especially with the DLC characters, you have so many companions, and sometimes you will do a quest line for them unless you just kick them out of your group. But then like you have to do that whole level up process, and obviously like later it like you pretty much know like, oh, if these two characters have the same subclass, let me just do these like skills if you've done it for the other already. But even in the late game, like I was almost max rank and I still was like looking like, okay, but which one would make sense? And it just added to the playtime, because I'm just again reading the skills to see like, oh, am I gonna be satisfied with this choice? I will be also honest, I just tend to like quickly read them and then be like, okay, let me just choose this and I'll just live with the consequences. But I don't know how it happened, but my Abelard became a Doom guy, and basically even the late game bosses, if they just didn't attack him first, when it's his turn, he's pretty much unkillable. And so I kind of became my most busted unit, even though I have a Space Marine also in my retinue. So that made me chuckle, and I wish I could tell you which skills I chose for him, but I can't remember most of them. Like it became like awareness this, advantage that, and like death dealer this and death dealer that. So I do have like hopes that Dark Heresy consolidates most of the skills into like also more beneficial ones, because like most skills kind of require another for you to like witness a significant increase in your character's performance. And again, you wouldn't really know because it's so much. It's like so many skills. So at first glance, you wouldn't even know like if you combined all those skills in that order, like you will like see a difference with your character, because you still have like normal skills that gives your character a lot more move sets, but most of the time you're choosing like passives, and a lot of passives can stack up with each other and create a very busted unit. Case in point, my Abelard that becomes a fucking melee god at one point. But like if you don't know that, or you choose wrong, like it could also be to your detriment, because it doesn't make for some companions sense for some of their skills, because some like a lot of skills are also melee focus or range focus. So if you choose by accident a lot of ranged skills for your melee character, which he can still do range stuff, but like if you wanted him to be a melee character, then you chose wrong basically. So
Okay.
I have hopes for Dark Heresy to like have a more consolidated skill system.
Okay. I like how you just went on. Like, actually, that helped a lot. Like, I had, uh, you basically already gave answers to a lot of the questions I had prepared.
Mm.
So, but the final question I do have for you is like, what kind of rating would you give this game?
I was pondering for the longest time about it. because I very much love this game. It's so great. It's so I can't wait for the third DLC, which is gonna be focusing on Trazen. I believe they said in the New Games Plus showcase, which is like a Necron noble, but like a very busted one and crazy, and pretty much the Pokemon master of the Warhammer 40k universe. I will not go further in detail about him, otherwise we'll have another hour to add. But like knowing that there are still like 2 DLCs upcoming, one that I will probably very much love, and maybe the fourth one adding like a faction that we don't have in the game called the Orcs, which are very massive in the Rogue Trader tabletop. With like in that tabletop, there's like a very big event with the Orcs, and maybe the fourth DLC will focus on that. It will also be fun to have an Orc companion, which again is only like having alien companions is only possible because you're a Rogue Trader. So that also shows you like why it made a lot of sense to do a Rogue Trader CRPG instead of like a Space Marine or someone else. But a lot of the gameplay issues that I had were like I remember at launch, like the random difficulty spike near the end of Act 3, like now it's resolved in patch 1.5, so I'm very happy with that, so I don't have that criticism anymore. But just the skill systems, also the story is so great, but I performed feats that I find very questionable, and it was literally also near the end game that those feats happen, and it makes sense in a game where like gameplay wise, because like yeah, I want to be fucking OP, right? I want to be this like almost godlike being, but like when most of the games is like very much canon and like it makes sense and like it doesn't destroy rule sets that we know of just for the end game to kind of give me feats that I find very questionable that I should be able to perform, like made me contemplate like how much stars I wanted. Like initially, I like, especially when I first made it to the end game section, I was like 5 stars, but I was still hovering between 4 and 5 stars. But after reaching the
If
ending,
you
I
ask
know.
me, like the way you sound, like you actually give it a 5 stars, but due to some obstacles, like through your journey playing this game, like you're kinda thinking about giving it a 4, even though you already have settled for a 5 star.
No, like for the longest part, the game was hovering on a 4 star. Then I started the end game section, which made it 5 stars. And then I finally reached the ending, and now I am back to a 4 star. Because then I kept thinking about like for the longest part, like a lot of the systems, gameplay systems that I liked and disliked about the game made it like a firm 4 star. But the story, like the reveal of the last alien faction, like surprise alien faction that the game had to offer, bumped it to a 5 star. And also like the all of my actions coming back to support me or bite me in the ass made it a 5 star. But then like near the end, like some of the feats, like if I look back at some of the feats I performed, it was just too crazy that I was like I was dissatisfied with that. I also had like one of the more bad endings, I guess. Like it's not, I don't see it necessarily as a bad ending, since I kind of knew that I pissed off a lot of people, but the people that are in that system love me. So, and I will not say more because I don't want to spoil an ending, but they have like, there are multiple endings. Like I don't know how many in total, but there are multiple endings, and I believe probably mine is seen as like one of the worst endings. But I was still satisfied, and like I do love living with my consequences. So like I have again a reason to like replay and see like which other endings what might I have preferred. I will say also it's also 4 star because it's a lot of reading, and I don't mind reading, but especially with the end game section, I expected a lot more voice acting since
Okay.
it's not there necessarily in the game. Like some parts of the game has voice acting, but then I would assume like, oh, they're saving it all for the end game section. But I was surprised even when I faced the final boss, it wasn't voice acted. I just had to read, and I think like if you like reading, this might still be like a game you could play. But if you wanted like more voice acting, then I can't also really recommend this game to you if you want more voices, because they have like superb voice actors. Like I loved each and every character's voice that they got, but you don't really hear it for most of the part. Like I believe like it's less than 10 hours in my 102-hour playthrough that I've heard voices, and that means that I've been reading a lot, and that, to be honest, I'm a slow reader, so probably the game is also longer because of the fact that I'm a slow reader. Like maybe you could have finished it in 80 hours if you
Okay.
are a fast reader. But
Okay.
Pokemon
What's
fans are jealous.
Hmm?
Pokemon fans are jealous.
Yeah,
all right? I think
4
we
stars.
reached
4
4
stars.
stars. I think we reached the end of this time's episode. So
Yes.
if you liked it, make sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe. We also have a social media channel, so be sure to check that out to keep updated. And see you on the next.
Comment down below if you're gonna play Horizon Hunters Gathering.
Bye bye.
See you.